And
Ta-da!
we're live.
There's nobody telling us that we are live. There's just a little red sign, live. So I assume we are live. And
Mhm.
good evening, ladies. Good morning.
And good afternoon for those of you here in Brazil.
Hello, good early morning from Australia. It's actually kind of funny. It says it ended already. It doesn't say we're live. How does it get better than that?
Amazing. So, ladies, my dear JCF friends, we are going to talk about today? Have&Be allowance? Yeah, I have the Portuguese and you the German book.
I love
Awesome,
it.
amazing.
English, Portuguese, and German copy of this book. So amazing. And yes, we are talking about two chapters. One, practice and be an allowance. I hope it's the title in English anyway. Correct me. And yes, and I wonder what does it mean being allowance in regard of money. So
Well, I can start a little bit maybe with that. It's funny because when I first found the tools of joy business, and the word allowance in America, allowance actually means money you give your kids to do chores around the house. Like as they're little, you give them money to take out the trash or something else. And it was really interesting, even learning beyond money, allowance, allowing you to be you, allowing others to be them, and that space of you're not really forcing, you're not pushing, you're not trying to get someone to do something, but you're also not allowing someone to push you to do something. And there is this relaxation that's actually available when you are allowing that. And I'd say, over the last 12 years, almost 13 years of that tool, it's like learning it in a different way, receiving it in a different way. And so often when we think about money, are we willing to have that relaxation? Or is it has the meaning of what it meant maybe for your parents or, even your spouse or somebody very close to you. We all have different definitions of money. And when we actually start to explore these tools, like getting out of debt joyfully for me was really interesting because I wasn't in debt when I first started reading the book or even, this particular program, but it invites you to start to explore, your points of views, not the ones you think are yours, but truly, what is money for you? What is receiving for you? What is creating for you? And then when you do allow you to receive, allow you to be that, what else is really possible? So I really wonder what that might be for you guys.
So I just came back some days ago from Zanzibar, from Tanzania. So it's an African island, and as not only in Africa but on a tourist spot, so the people try to sell you everything. And when they get that you are from Europe or Germany, especially, they get prices. It's for scarves, they say $45, for example. So and for finished, you can buy it for five. So, but what I realized was this projection they had always. You are from Germany. You have a lot of money, and my target is to pull as much money as I can from you. And when I perceived this energy, this projection of you are from Germany, you have a lot of money, I went into a separation and a rejection. So no, I don't want. So, and I said always, my husband doesn't allow me to buy anything. So it's the Islamic country. So I was fine. But then I went, okay, but that's not create really that what I want to create also in this world. So I I played a little bit with these tools, and when I went through the separation and the rejection, I said, okay, if I can just be an allowance? That's the way they live. That's the way how they treated tourists. And as a tourist, I should know that and just play with the game. And so I played, and I dealt with them, and I've, at the end when they said the price, I said, okay, thank you, I'm not interested. Yes, but really being in allowance and an interesting point of view, whatever other people are with money, and as Laleh said, not to be pushed to be something or to do something, really created for me an ease and a space I never had before when I traveled in such countries.
Amazing. Yeah, for me, allowance and playing with that tool really started with this place where I used to function from a place where it was almost a must to align and agree with any point of view about money or resist and react. I'm never going to be that, or I'm never going to do that, whatever that is. And in being exposed to this invitation of being, as Simone says in the book, being the pebble on the stream, and the water passes you by. And I started to see how much I was growing with the waters instead of allowing that. And in playing with that was, I don't know, could be a point of view of, oh, you will never have that much money, or this is very expensive, or this is not for you, or your family is not for the money, or whatever point of view. I would go to this place of having to look into that and analyze that. And it was really exhausting. And then defining if I was going to be aligned and agreeing or resisting and reacting to that. And then I started asking, what would it be like to be allowance, truly allowance, with those points of view about money? And many times it's not comfortable also, although it's really, truly freeing when playing with that. It's not comfortable because it's as if there was this sort of a memory or an energy there that drives you into a certain road. But when you go in, it's almost as if you're saying, no, interesting point of view, I have this point of view. I'm not going to go there. But not with this emotional thing or no reaction there. And then, even as I speak about that right now, it's as if I'm being naked, as if that skin of defense and hiding and whatever just falls apart. And it's like, yes, I'm here. And that's the magical thing for me, because this different space that shows up is actually what allows things to be different. I remember one day I was actually facilitating a how to become money workbook. and book club. And I was playing with allowance. And I remember that there was a bill that came to pay for the apartment and stuff in here. And this very quick thought crossed my head. Oh, I gotta pay that as soon as possible and get rid of that. And I'm like, who does that belong to? And I could hear it was the way my mother used to speak about bills. And so at that point, I'm like, oh, what if I don't have to resist and react and align with anything? Guys, I just stayed with the bill in front of me, looking at it, and I started saying, interesting point of view, I have this point of view. Interesting point of view, I have this point of view for a long time. And then when things sort of melted, that's when I paid the bill. And it was such a different space. And I was actually energized by that. So, yeah, what else is possible when these things, isn't it amazing? Because these tools, they don't have anything to do with the amount of money you have or you don't have in your bank account. Everyone can use it and can try them if you're willing to, right?
Yeah, and I love the way that particular story, because I think any of us could relate to that, you know? And it's interesting because like this book exposes so many things I think that we might have witnessed as kids too, and it seemed odd and weird. And, it's funny, we have a word for it today, it's cognitive dissonance. It's like you knew as a kid money wasn't what your parents had as a point of view. Like I remember when I was 7, we were in France. We lived right across the street from the beach. And my mom wanted me to buy a doll, and I really wanted a teddy bear. and, and I didn't want this doll, so I had to come up with my own money. And we walked to the beach one day together, and I looked down, and back then there was no euros, it was still the franc. I found a 100 franc. And I picked it up and I was so excited. I was like, now I can have my teddy bear. And my mother took the money and said, oh no, that doesn't belong to us. But like as a kid, we know miracles can happen. We know we could just say, I am going to have that teddy bear, and that teddy bear is going to be yours somehow. And it's really interesting because even our parents had that when they were kids, and along the way with their families' points of views ended up changing that. So like, even for me, when I started to read this book, I realized these hidden messages, like you were saying, it's like, it's not something you would think. However, when someone says something or that bill showed up, or like I think for us it was we bought a brand new house and we had put a lot of money down for the house, and within 3 weeks we had Hurricane Sandy come through, which caused a lot of devastation in the area. And we had all these things we had to fix in the house, and one of them was our sewer system and our AC. And, like when they brought us the bill, one was like $19,000 and, another one was like $25,000. And it's like, wow, like there was a moment of like, wow, that's a lot of money. Like after we just paid for all this, but it wasn't, but it was that moment, that little 10-second of my dad, that point of view. And luckily, I had the tools when this came about, and being able to like just that moment, who does this belong to? Is this even mine? And that willingness to also have the allowance that that is how my mom or dad or some person would have reacted. But what's my choice here? And the moment you are willing to be in allowance, you allow your allowance to exceed that awareness, is when you also invite a different possibility. And I know we're talking about bills, it doesn't even have to be about bills, it's about anything, but how often do you have something that triggers that memory box, And if you can let that memory box start to just be an allowance and let it go and not react, what's really possible?
It's like so many points of view are sort of handed down to us, and we automatically go because we don't know better, or we don't have actually other tools, and we go to that space of, oh, okay, that's how it is, that's how it is, or I'm never going to be that, or I'll never do it like that, which also creates the same result. But
Yeah.
with an interesting point of view, you actually do have a different choice if you would like, with allowance.
Well, now it also brings me up with another tool in there. It's like being out of control. So, Diana, do you want to say something about that?
Yes, because never underestimate in where you are. We are surrounded, as we talked already, about people who have a lot of points of view regarding money. And I'm in Germany, and maybe in every other country also, there is this interesting point of view in which ways money can only come to your life. So mostly the people say, okay, you have to work hard. German, we have to work even harder. So,
The
uh,
rules are different in Germany. You're like extra hard.
extra. You can win in a lottery, or maybe you have a rich aunt or uncle in America where you can do a heritage. That's so mostly the common point of view how you can get money, but not really this magical way. This is out of control way that really money is an energy which can come from everywhere. And I perceived also these point of views when I was in holidays with all the people. Oh, it's so expensive, and now we have to got back in track. We have to save the money and so on. And every time when I had the money thought in my head, okay, who does it belong to? Who does it belong to? Yes, and really being out of control with money is a tool I really using mostly when I have money thought or money point of view. I always ask the question: how can I be out of control with money? How can I receive from everywhere money? So what else is possible to be really out of control and not to control in which way money can come in my life? It's
Yeah. It's interesting because the out of control is like counterintuitive because we learn if you want something, you have to control it to come. And like even people, like if you want to, create something or, you're in a meeting or whatever, it's like the one who wins is the one who has the most control. But it's the opposite, like look at yourselves, like those moments you do control. How are you and how's your body? Like we tend to like shrink in. We tend to actually be more in that fight mode instead of that relaxation and allowing that control to expand. And the same thing with money, like the way you described it, we tend to have it defined the direction from which those revenue streams can come in. Instead of when you relax, you actually are more creative. You allow you to explore things from a different way. And when your body's relaxed, what else is available for you? Like it becomes from a serious to maybe a more playful, more fun way to also open up those other, I call them all creativity boxes and creativity juices, kind of moving. But so many of them you may not think about when you're trying to force into one particular direction. And so those infinite, we call them, you know, it's not just one directional, but it's spherical direction. So how many revenue streams can you allow to be added to your life today, for you, your business, and for all your adventures, like all the different ways that you like to add adventures to your life?
Yeah. Yeah, I know. When with this controlling and control freak piece, for me, I mean, there's lots of pieces to that, but for me, one piece that's very strong, I would say, it's when I get that I'm going to a lot of this space of I have to, this has to, blah, 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 blah. That's so heavy in my world. And sometimes I only notice that after I've been on that rabbit hole for a while. But yeah, these questions: what would it be like to be out of control, out of limitation with this, out of definition, and you know, also uh, dropping my barriers to not believing that I'm the only one, that I'm the one that has to do it all, you know, or that I'm separate. I also get that separation could be a big piece of that, as if, you know, I'm asking a lot about that. How much do I really trust that the universe will have my back? And then, wow, dropping that control, what would that be like, to simply allow things to show up however they do, without having to have that, you know, paranoia that if I let go, things will go south or things won't work and blah, 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 blah. What if it's actually the opposite of that? You know, what if the universe has bigger plans for us? Yeah.
I love also, as Simone is described in this chapter, creation from chaos and not from structure and control. So she mentioned her business partner doing everything from to-do lists and everything really structured. And I had a boss in my life. He said, "Oh, Diana, your desk is always so messy. Can you just not finish one file?" Impossible. It was always I handled 10, 15 things at the same time. At the time, I made myself wrong. I thought I was wrong, but now I understood it is my way of creation from chaos, from not from the structure, not from a to-do list. So just what pops in my head, I'm doing. And I'm really faster than when I try to make it in a linear way or to try to finish something when it's not the time to accomplish it.
So it's really like a question that Simone also gives us on that piece, which is what's right about me I'm not getting, right, Diana? What's right about you?
Yeah. And actually, that applies so much with money. You know, like even my example of like finding the money on the ground, you know, like it's so counterintuitive too. It's like the first thing with money, or that sensation that we ever feel, it's like the first place to go is what's wrong, you know, what's not happening, or all the different ways your head's going to come up why you're not going to create the money, you're not going to go on that vacation, you're not. But that moment you add that chaos and do the opposite, and you're like, what is right about this? You know, it's incredible how much that out of control, it messes with your head, which is magic, you know, but it also opens all the things you haven't even considered as the possibility. And so I'm super grateful for Simone Millicis for writing this book and having it available. It's available in so many languages all around the globe. And being able to really have conversation nobody else has. You know, like when you talk about even the title, Getting Out of Debt Joyfully, where else on the planet does anyone else use the word joy with the word debt, even in the same sentence, you know? And I know translators even had a hard time with this, you know? But that is what we're talking about, the allowance and out of control. If you're really willing, what is it you're not putting together that actually can, you know, outcreate and be even more beautiful than you can ever imagine?
And allow us to create way more money than we ever thought possible.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you,
Amazing.
ladies.
It
It
was
was so great to be here with
So
you
great.
and all these amazing tools. And you know what I love is we are Joy of Business certified facilitators. We facilitate these programs all around the globe, but also how much we each gain being together, having conversation, each other's variations of the tools. And so like I'm super grateful we put this together.
Thank you so much, Laleh. Thank you so much, Norma. That was again great with you, ladies. Thank you.
You're amazing, super joyful ladies. Bye bye.
Well, see you later, Laleh.
Bye, you guys. Yeah, see you in a couple hours.